More than 1 month after the originally scheduled date, today is the primary election day here in Kentucky. As Kentucky voters cast their ballots, how their choices could dramatically reshape national politics.
That cold front will continue to provide a few showers tonight and even a little bit into tomorrow, but we'll also see more sunshine for your Wednesday. I'll have a look at that forecast right now at 5:30.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Yesterday, we took you to Knox County, where officials there had just finished months of preparation work for this very different primary election. They are one of a few counties to have 2 or more polling locations, which is still down from their normal 30. WYMT's Connor James followed up with the clerk today and stopped by one of the polling places.
Despite the size of the county or the number of COVID cases, how this primary runs is something clerks have never seen before. In Knox County, a place with a population of 30,000 or so and 16 confirmed COVID cases, in-person voting went on for 12 hours Tuesday.
We're kind of a diverse county. We have a city on each end of our county.
Mike Corey, the clerk, told us on Monday that he had asked for more polling locations and got the number from 1 to 2.
We realized that some voters might have to travel as far as 15 miles. But we certainly thought, our Board of Elections thought that having 2 polling places was absolutely a necessity to take care of our voters.
There was a constant inflow of people, and about 20 socially distanced tables prevented any backup.
We've not had any lines. Voters have been able to vote in 5 minutes or less.
Now, we did talk with a handful of voters that were leaving this polling location today off camera, and they said it went very smooth. They were in and out within 5 or so minutes. This is the inside of Knox Central's gym, where the spread out tables got a thorough cleaning.
After each voter, due to COVID-19, we're cleaning the tables. We just want to be sure that everyone's health is protected as they vote on Election Day. They sent out 3,700 absentee ballots this year. That's up from 300 in a normal year. Those results, though, won't be released until June 30th at noon. The results here, though, at this polling location, they'll be released after the polls close. And I just can't say enough about our election officers, these people that give their day up. We have some well-trained officers, and they do a great job.
In Knox County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Corey added that in a presidential primary, voter turnout is usually about 25%. He believes they will hit close to that again this year, despite the limited polling locations. While some counties open 2 or more precincts for voting, the 2 most populated counties in Kentucky, Jefferson and Fayette, only opened 1. This was the scene this morning at the Exposition Center in Louisville. Some complained that it was suppressed voting. However, we've heard reports of very few problems other than some long lines. Well, the eyes of the nation and its capital are on Kentucky tonight. As Washington correspondent Kyle Madura explains, national observers are closely tracking the race to unseat the country's most powerful senator. Kyle joins us now live from the nation's capital with more. Kyle?
Yeah, Steve, it may be about a week before we know which of the Democrats will ultimately be the candidate in November's general election. But it's all but certain that whoever emerges from the primary today will go up against an institution, Republican Majority Leader, Senator Mitch McConnell.
Whether you like him or not, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, this is a smart candidate who knows how to win.
Georgetown University political science professor Mark Rome says Democratic leadership in Washington sees former fighter pilot Amy McGrath as their best bet for an upset. Meanwhile, State Senator Charles Booker is picking up endorsements from the Bernie Sanders wing of the National Party. But Rome says the biggest threat to McConnell is if President Donald Trump becomes toxic at the top of the ticket.
McConnell has tied his political stars to the Trump ship.
McGrath has raised more money than any Senate candidate up for election this year. Jessica Taylor with the Cook Political Report says that's a big reason they rate the race as likely Republican rather than solid Republican.
Also, when you sort of dig deeper, McConnell has pretty high negatives, and that's something that could make him vulnerable.
Taylor says McConnell is still the odds-on favorite and a Booker victory could move their rating back to solid Republican. But if GOP-aligned groups are forced to spend big to defend McConnell's seat, Republicans may pay a political price in states like Arizona, Colorado, Maine, Montana, and North Carolina.
If Democrats could force them to spend here in Kentucky, that is money that's off the table in more competitive races.
Now, if McConnell does win re-election, but his fellow peers, Senate Republicans, lose 4 seats, then come late January, he'll be the minority leader rather than the majority leader. Steve?
Well, Kyle, what are you hearing up in D.C. right now about the chances of the Senate flipping in November?
Well, certainly it's a distinct possibility, Steve. The Cook Political Report lists 5 seats as toss-ups. Now, there is one Democratic seat, Senator Doug Jones of Alabama, that's actually listed as a lean Republican. So if all 5 went to the Democrats, they could lose that Jones seat, lose the presidency, and potentially flip it. But otherwise, it's really anyone's guess, and there's a way you could see this breaking in both parties' favor. Obviously, if the presidency flips, then the Democrats only need to get to a 50-vote margin in order to have the majority. The Republicans would hold on to the majority with a 50-vote margin if President Trump wins re-election. Steve?
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting in November. Kyle Madura up there in D.C., thank you so much for joining us live tonight. Well, Congressman Andy Barr is trying to fend off 2 challengers in the 6th congressional district. Barr is facing off against Chuck Eddy and Jeff Young. The race comes for the congressman just days after a tragedy in his family when he lost his wife, Carol. Now, 2 Democrats are also running for the party's nomination. Josh Hicks and Daniel Kemp, the 2 primary winners, will of course take on each other, and a Libertarian, Frank Harris, come November. Meanwhile, in the 4th congressional district, incumbent Thomas Massie has some stiff competition. He was first elected back in 2012. Congressman Massie is facing off against Todd McMurtry. You might remember his name from helping the law firm who filed suit against CNN and the Washington Post on behalf of the Covington Catholic High School student last year. Well, the Senate race for the 31st District puts 2 Pike County men on the ballot, each hoping for a chance to take on incumbent Senator Philip Wheeler in November. WYMT's Buddy Forbes spoke to Scott Sykes and Glenn Martin Hammond today as they wait to see who will move on to the general election.
It is a race for the Senate.
We're having an election and a campaign during the time of a global pandemic and a national health crisis,
creating a unique experience for voters.
Pike County has more places to go vote unfortunately, than a lot of the other counties don't have the same opportunity to that extent. So you're worried about voter turnout.
But 2 Pike County men, Scott Sykes and Glenn Martin Hammond, have their sights set on the Senate seat for the 31st District.
Especially if we're going to build a better economy here in this area and give hope to those who've been hopeless for too long.
Each hopeful that his mostly digital campaign will have been enough.
It's been impossible for us to be able to run a campaign and go knock on doors, engage our voters across the district one-on-one
as they await the final results.
But at the end of the day, we won't know until the last vote's counted,
because they have both announced big plans for the future.
So we're on the same page as far as it goes with what Eastern Kentucky needs. But it comes down to what type of leadership does East Kentucky want?
Plans that, for one of them,
hoping for a win.
A big win.
Will carry over into their campaign for the general election. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
And again, we may not know the we won't know the final results tonight. We might know who's in the lead. We'll just have to wait and see. That Senate seat represents Elliott, Lawrence, Martin, Morgan, and Pike counties. The men say it is time for a change, and they each believe they can bring that to the Senate. Democratic State Senator Johnny Ray Turner will learn by next week who he will face in the general election. The former educator survived the big red wave a few years ago. 2 Republicans are vying for the Republican nomination. Johnny L. Turner and Matthew Wynn hope to take on the incumbent in November. Johnny Ray was first elected back in 1999. This primary will also let us know who will take over for former House Speaker Jeff Hoover. The Republican incumbent decided not to seek re-election. Joshua Branscombe and Mark Polston are the two battling in the state's 83rd House district. Branscombe is the vice president of a construction company, while Polston owns a small flooring retailer in Somerset. No Democrats filed to run.
Well, that cold front has been pushing through the mountains today, which is why we saw some soggy weather earlier. Starting to see most of that rain move out of here, but still seeing some showers in some areas. As we look into Pikeville, you can see the sunshine we saw earlier this morning. Then we saw the heavy rain, and then we saw a little bit more sunshine after that. I think they've seen a few more showers throughout the day as well. Like I said, it got a little bit soggy at times, but really starting to dry out for a lot of us. We're seeing those clouds clear out over into Whitesburg, 79 degrees, so not feeling too bad. Dew point in the lower 60s, so not too muggy out there, but it still feels just a little bit warmer, feeling like 81 over in Whitesburg. Temperatures across the area into about the upper 70s to lower 80s. Cooler in Pikeville at 71 degrees. They just got a shower there, so it's cooled them off a little bit, but lower 80s if you're looking down into parts of the Cumberland Valley. They've seen a lot more sunshine, especially over the past couple of hours, and that has kept them on that warmer side. Now, as we head into the rest of those evening hours, we're going to continue to see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. You can see here on Pinpoint Doppler, though, most of them are starting to push out of here. We should dry out heading into tonight, but we could see a few more showers as we head into your Wednesday. Not looking too bad, though. We'll cool down a little bit over the next few days, but also see more sunshine into the end of the week. I'll have a look at that full 7-day forecast coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. Back in February, the Appalachian School of Luthery in Knott County gained national recognition for its cultural recovery program. Even the New York Times and CBS Evening News covered the school. But even with that positive publicity, the Appalachian Artisan Center was unsure about funding to continue the program for this year. Well, some good news to report. They have secured 2 National Endowment for the Arts grants to continue.
This one for $75,000 will allow us to continue our culture recovery program that is so important, helping people that have substance use disorders.
This will be the 3rd year for the grant. The Appalachian Artisan Center was one of 51 recipients across the country. WYMT's Lacey Roberts will have more on the purpose and impact this will have on the community tonight at 11. Coming up here on Mountain News at 5:30, gear going right from the military into the hands of police. Some departments are now returning equipment. We'll look at the controversy in a new investigation.
We'll see a few scattered rain chances Wednesday, but we'll also see plenty of sunshine. I'll have a look at that Wednesday forecast coming up.